I did think we played the game the right way. Clifton Brown /Indistar. December 1, 2017, Toronto, Ontario, Can. Indiana Pacers guard Victor Oladipo, 4, goes to the basket against Toronto Raptors center Jonas Valanciunas, 17, at Air Canada Center. Photo, Tom Zabisky USA Today Sports. Toronto. For long stretches of Friday's game, it appeared the Indiana Pacers defense did make it through Canadian customs. The Toronto Raptors had success offensively, regardless of who was in the game, regardless of which sets they ran. If you were a Raptor, you wanted a piece of the action. DeMar DeRozan led Toronto with 26 points, but there was no need for DeRozan to go crazy, as 7 Raptors were in double figures. The Pacers simply could not make a defensive stand long enough to keep the Air Canada Center crowd quiet, or to keep Toronto from going on run after run. Losing their second straight game against a quality road opponent, the Pacers dropped a 120-115 decision and fell to 12-11 on the season. The Pacers wasted another standout performance from guard Victor Oladipo, who carried Indiana with a season-high 36 points on 14 of 22 shooting from the field. Oladipo kept the Pacers in the game, but while Oladipo was lighting it up, the Raptors picked apart Indiana's defense. Trailing throughout the fourth quarter, the Pacers rallied in the final minutes after trailing by 14 points with just over 6 minutes to play. Darren Collison and Lance Stevenson both missed three-pointers with under 2 minutes to play that could have pulled the Pacers to within 2 points, and Bojan Bogdanovic missed a driving layup attempt with 35 seconds to play that could have pulled the Pacers to within 3. DeRozan's 2 free throws with 27.1 seconds to play put Toronto, 14-7, up by 7 and sealed Indiana's fate. Here are 3 observations from the Pacers' loss in Toronto. A link has been posted to your Facebook feed. Indiana has given up at least 109 points in its last 3 games. When you want to play up-tempo like the Pacers, you are going to give up more points than teams who prefer a half-court game. But the Pacers are giving up too many layups, too many uncontested jumpers, too many points in transition. Those are the baskets that lead to runs by the opponent, the kind of runs the Raptors enjoyed in this game. Toronto backup center Oladipo had a career-high 17 points, on 8 for 8 shooting. Early in the fourth quarter, Toronto guard Norman Powell stormed down the lane and dunked with little resistance. It's one thing when James Harden is lighting you up. But Oladipo and Norman Powell. That should happen. The Raptors had 70 points in the paint, compared to 44 for the Pacers. There is no excuse for that, just no excuse, said Pacers coach Nate McMillan. Absolutely no presence down there at all. For most of the third quarter, Oladipo was the Pacers' offense. He made jumpers, he scored in transition, he made fundamental plays, he made spectacular plays. You could hear that murmur from the Toronto crowd, the murmur you hear when an opposing player is making fans notice, even though they don't want to cheer. After making a corner 3 near the Raptors bench, he turned and glared at several Toronto players who apparently had been talking trash,